Charanam, Guru Charanam, Sada Mama Shri Guru Charanam, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Sada Mama Shri Guru Charanam, Sada Mama Shri Guru Charanam. My humble pranams to the lotus feet of Param Pujya Guruji and to all Mahatmas. There is absolutely no essence to life other than Guru Tattva. There is no light which can be better than what the Guru lights in our hearts. And of course, there is no love better than what our Guru has provided to us. Which is why when you sing Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru is Brahma, Vishnu and Ishvara. And is that all? You also say Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. He is Sakshat Parabrahma. And if that is the case, do I need to speak about anything other than Guru on this day? In fact, every one of us in the satsang, all the developments we have had, all successes, happiness that we have had is simply because of one person, which is our Guru. And hence I thought I would rather talk only about the Guru. In fact, just looking at the Guru Sishya Parampara and more importantly at the relationship between Guru and disciple, I am reminded of Swami Ramakrishna and Vivekananda. Swami Ramakrishna was an extraordinary loving mother, whereas Vivekananda was a mischievous child like us. While we may not be Vivekananda, but certainly we have our Guruji, Param Pujya Guruji as Sri Ramakrishna, loving us unconditionally. But the important point to note is when someone asked Swami Vivekananda, you've been so close to the Master, you love him so much, you've gained so much from him, why haven't you written a biography on your Master? His response was amazing, and I was reminded of that as I set on this journey of sharing my thoughts about the Guru. He said, I did not write a biography simply because the puny words that I can put together will simply not do justice to the magnitude of my Sadguru's grace and greatness. I am in that space today. But what I am going to speak about is the love which I received, which every one of us received. So way back in August 97, it was an absolute, I would say, fortune which resulted me in meeting the Guru. I walked into the satsang slightly late, first session with the Guru, and somebody whispered into his ears that this is the person who came last week and was shooed away by our satsangis. And he just glanced. So that was my first shiver running through the body at the, at his eyes focusing on me for a brief while. And after the sessions were over, after the Aarti, somebody took me, I think it was Suguji, who took me to Guruji and then introduced me. And the Guru didn't speak a word. He just said, oh, it's a great pleasure to have you here with us. And he gave me a hug. I must say that was an unbelievable experience. Somebody showering love on what I would call a stranger. In an unconditional way, I melted. I really melted. The transformation and the journey started there. So this is clearly the turning point, August 97. But what I consider as the real tipping point in this journey with the Master, within 8 months, in April 98, I had to move from Bahrain to Dubai. And here it was, Every moment I spent with the master in the last few days before I move, I still remember. And on the last day, just before I left, there was Satyanarayana Puja, where it was like a farewell. And I was sitting next to Guruji. I was weeping here and there when I was hearing him sing, when the whole puja happened. And finally, when it was my moment to say goodbye to the satsangis and to the master, I wept inconsolably. I was weeping like a child. The inconsolable way in which I wept at that point of time, and the Guru hugged me and said, "Listen, Venu, I am with you, and wherever you go, I will be there in the form of devotees surrounding you." And it happened everywhere I went from there. The strength of satsang, the strength of the master was behind me. So the tipping point was the pangs of separation from the master. Now what happened from April 98, for the next 3 months was every weekend I used to fly from Dubai to Bahrain. In the weekend, just come on a Thursday evening and then fly out on a Sunday morning, and spend enough amount of time with the Guru. I was running like a child separated from the mother every weekend for 3 months. That was a brilliant time. And in that moment, the way Guruji took care of me was unbelievable. The juices that he made himself and gave me when I was with him. And when I wake up in the morning, I will fall at his feet, but then he will give me a towel and a kurta pajama and say, "Venu, here are new kurta pajama." And note that these were owned by the Guru himself. So it was a fabulous time. It was a great foundation, great start to this journey. This love he did not show only on me, on everyone around me. Like for instance, I still remember a couple of years back when Guruji came to Bandra, my home, and he was leaving for the airport in 30 minutes or so, midnight, to go to the US. And Harita was very dull that day, and she told Guruji, "I'm having a terrible headache." And our master did not wait a moment. He just took her head and then hit it against his head and said, "May all the headaches be transferred to me." It was an unbelievable sight. A master who has to travel a long journey, and imagine that headache which got transferred would have troubled him a lot physically, but he was just unperturbed. That was his unconditional love that I got from him. Now, while I was reflecting on all this journey, there are many more instances which I am not recounting here, but while I was reflecting, Mahatma Suresh ji sent me an SMS saying, "Venu, read from page 130 to 135 in Eknathi Bhagavat." So I knew something was there, and it was the master's voice speaking through Suresh ji. I opened it. It had 14 qualities of Sadguru, and everything ditto resembled our master. And immediately after that, it also had the qualities of a good disciple. And I was shocked. I was really shocked, because I felt I was nowhere. When it spoke about the real qualities of a disciple, I was nowhere. And one of the things there was really striking. It said a real disciple is the one who is subservient to the feet of the Sadguru, who is sold out to the wishes of the master, and more importantly, he is even happy to stake his life for the work of the Guru. I was just reflecting on this line and saying, where am I? I'm nowhere there. This definition is very clear. And at that point of time, I was reminded many conversations I've had with our Guru on all-in-one. That is really the all-in-one, I would say. No, an all-in-one is nothing but, in my mind, it can transform me from a householder into the highest level of sadhaka at the feet of the Guru, as has been defined in Eknathi Bhagavat. Why? Why is that? Because today I am in samsara to the deepest way, and then I am also doing little bit of noble work here and there, a distribution, a satsang here and there, maybe an empowerment workshop, and so on and so forth. It is like a small piece, of what one should be doing if you really want to be like the disciple who has been defined in Eknathi Bhagavat. What all-in-one does is, from morning, from the time you wake up until you hit the bed, and through your sleep, you are living, you are breathing that noble mission that the Guru has laid before you. But if I have to do that, what do I need? Can I really transform myself there? That was the question mark I had in my mind when I was reading Eknathi Bhagavad, and I'm convinced there is only one thing which can help me transform and become part and parcel of all-in-one, and thereby migrate from a householder into a sadhaka, into a disciple as defined in Eknathi Bhagavad. And that can happen only with Guru's grace. And I will actually complete it with a small song. The meaning of this song is very potent. It says, I have nothing. It looks like I have everything, but I have nothing. I'm just pleading, begging. I'm pleading and begging Guruji for your grace. Only that grace can transform me into that person who can really imbibe all-in-one in the heart, in the deepest part of my heart. Oorile kaani illai, uravu mattoruvar illai, paaril nin paadamulam, பற்றிலேன் பரமமூர்த்தி காரொளி வண்ணனே என் கண்ணனே கதறுகின்றேன். All it says is, I don't have anything in this world, no wealth. I don't have any relationship in this world. And unfortunately, I didn't catch your feet strong enough, O Master. And you are my Krishna. I am pleading to you, begging to you, oh my Master, please save me. I have to transform myself as that sadhaka as defined in Eknathi Bhagavad, and that can happen only with your grace, my Master. Pranams.